My name is Kip Ferguson from Motivology Matters. Today we're going to take a look at part 2 of an 11-part series we've been working on, reviewing Ken Wydro's Think on Your Feet. Our session today is focused on chapter 1 of his book, which is entitled All Those Eyes. In this material, Ken lays down a great foundation for the rest of his book and really examines what it means to have that pressure of all those eyes on us. Let's take a look at some of the key points for this material today. There are 4 key points in the material today that you want to really pay attention to and make your notes on. The first is the psychological reaction. This part, Ken talks about really how we are physically, mentally impacted when we stand up to speak. Now it says psychological, but that physical piece is triggered by what we are thinking. Really what the impact is to us when we stand up there and we see all those eyes looking at us, even if it's in a small conversation and we're just talking to a boss, a supervisor, or a coworker. He really talks about relaxing. How do we relax? How do we get over that psychological reaction? Then he talks about concentration. And you might be surprised at some of the material of what he's talking about on concentration. It's really not what I consider concentration, but it really does have a strong impact there. And then the last piece is preparation. We really need to be prepared, not just for a specific speech or talking, but be prepared in general. So let's go ahead now and take a look at our first key point, the psychological reaction and our impact there. Have you ever stood up there, seen all those eyes, and just felt like you couldn't move? That's the first thing that Ken talks about, is that paralyzing sensation that we get, where we just can't move. He then talks about how we can get past that, how we can move on, what the different techniques that we can use to make sure that we don't get paralyzed. And then he talks about the moment of truth, that point when we really have to have something to say. And we want to make sure that we succeed during that moment of truth. We also need to think better under pressure. So we really need to focus on when that pressure is on. How can we think better? How do we prepare for that? And it really is a mental habit. We need to work through practicing so that when those situations come up, this isn't a new situation. We've built that habit. That pressure is coming from outside, and we've got a choice on the way that we handle it. You need to understand relaxation, concentration, and preparation. How are we going to relax? How are we going to concentrate? And how are we going to prepare? Let's look at relaxation. When it comes to relaxation, Wydro believes that it is the key to the vault of riches. What he means by that is that inside of us, we have a wealth of knowledge and understanding and an ability to communicate. If we will just first believe in ourselves, we can reach that treasure. So when you're in a situation, when you're getting ready to communicate, take a moment to control yourself. Make sure that you're under control and choose relaxation. Make sure that this is a conscious choice, because your fear is coming from a lack of perspective. Make sure that you understand your full surroundings, all of the ramifications, and that fear will go away because you have perspective. He then offers you a couple of warm-up exercises. The first is an attitude break. Take a break, get your attitude under control, see where things are coming from. And in the telephone game, he uses the ring of the telephone to be a trigger for relaxation. Let's take a look now at concentration. When it comes to communication, concentration is an essential ingredient. We must have concentration. But in the scope of this book, Ken is talking about concentration on a wider goal, not a specific piece of information. Make sure that you have concentration on your communication skills. It's something that we must exercise and develop. Communication isn't something that we just have. It is something that we must develop over time. And we must focus on what is inside of us so that our communication is not forced. It is what we have to offer. And you must have a visualization. Know what you're going to communicate and how you're going to communicate those pieces of information. Circumstances and events do not cause thoughts. Our thoughts are caused by what is inside of us. We just need to take time to relax and clear the mind so that we can concentrate on our communication. The last role that Wydro takes a look at is preparation. And he looks at and discusses the fact that we need to have the will to prepare. We have to be willing to prepare for communication. Not each individual event, but prepare with communication as a whole. We need to work on ourselves. We need to develop our communication abilities. Again, it's not something that's just going to come naturally. And we have to have the willingness to take a chance. We have to decide that we're going to move forward with this development. We have to set for ourselves an incredible standard of excellence. We just can't sit back and decide, oh, I'm a poor communicator. We have to have not just excellence, but an incredible standard of excellence when it comes to our communication. And we have to make a deep personal commitment to ourselves. Because if we aren't committed, we aren't going to move forward. We're not going to have that commitment to keep going forward. Those are the three primary roles that Wydro has laid out for us in this short chapter. At only 16 pages long, it's an easy read. But he's really laid out for us a lifetime of work as we become better communicators. He suggests that we not respond to our surroundings. What we need to do is take the time to relax. And once we're relaxed, just clear our minds. Concentrate on our communication. And we have to continually work on ourselves. We need to take the time to prepare to be better communicators. Again, a lifetime of work. Working on these, we will all become better communicators. In our next program, we'll take a look at the slight edge technique laid out in Chapter 2. Look forward to you joining us for that program. For now, this is Kip Ferguson from Motivology Matters. I invite you to stop by motivologymatters.com